Hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This week is intense week as I already did like a lot of videos about Flow, but probably you are here about the videos. So yeah, that's another video today from Flow because we have an update. And sometimes Flow, it's they're a little bit weird to be honest, because sometimes they put the updates, they put them into the mail, so they send them over the mail, and sometimes then they put them in the community and they don't send them to the mail. So it's like that. Sometimes you get it on both places, sometimes you get it on email. This time we only get it on email, so if you haven't saw if you don't have the emails turned on and you haven't saw it in the community, it is probably coming in the community as well. But this is the update. So in this today update, uh, we have launched theme widgets, which is great. It's amazing. If I were UI or UX designer, this would be like the most huge thing in Flow since, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe more. We have 3 new actions, which is great for caching, like I did in the last video, and there are a lot of a lot of cool stuffs as well. We have a searchable drop downs, which is great actually, because they're much appreciated for the people. It will give you a great advantage, and we have made big upgrades to the theme settings and theme components. So apparently now you can actually share theme settings, and you can share components, and you can share code as well. And we launch 3 new tutorials. So that's great in their Flow main channel. And also they have a survey. So if you haven't actually done the survey, yeah, please do it. It's about what do you think about Flow, about the community, about their channel, about everything related to Flow and communication with the Flow. So if you're happy about Flow or unhappy about Flow, it's a great place to actually uh, fill the survey. So yeah. So now let's begin with the first one, which is themes, widgets plus big theme upgrades. So we now have, let me just quickly read through this. So we have theme widgets allow you to define a style variant for most widgets and reuse it across the app. Similar to theme text styles, updating a theme widget will update all usages of your theme widget while respecting overrides. So the idea of that is they give you an example here. The idea of that is that you can actually make your own button right now. And then if you want to reuse this button, you can just click on the button and then you can reuse it. And the idea is that before this update, you should be, if you want to do this, you can copy and paste the button. But then you have to, if you have a lot of actions, you have to copy and paste the actions. But this is actually only like pasting your styles and not your actions. So this is the difference. And they say, for example, if you could define a button widget primary button will be the name of the button with a specific width, color, icon, border radius, and padding. So all of those you can specify it now and then reuse them. You can then drag and drop this theme widget directly into a page or apply this styling to existing widget. That's great actually. Plus we made some big upgrades to how you work with themes. So we're made all themes related items, design system covers and theme section left navigation menu. We extended our theme colors so you can create 16 predefined styles. So let me show you what they mean, because enough talking, enough is enough. So there is a new actually button on the left side on the menu, which is called theme settings. So if I click this theme settings, those are the new theme settings. As usual, you can import your theme from Figma. There is the default translation, and then we have the loading indicator, which you can change as well. And we have the colors, and here in the colors they change it a lot. So we have like they say, we have 16 predefined colors for the light theme, and we have 16 predefined colors for the dark theme as well. So there are a lot of colors. I think before that there were like 4 or 5 predefined colors, but now we have like 16, which is great, actually, much appreciated, like I said. And we have so we have explore project colors, and you can actually see it. So if you change something, so let's say I change my primary color to, I don't know, like green, and then I should be able to actually see the green one, which I'm not seeing right now for some reason. But yeah, the whole, probably they'll fix that in the future. But the whole idea is that I should be able to change the primary color over here, and then click on use, and then use my primary color and actually see how it will look like. We have the edit one, and now, okay, now it's working. Probably I had to, so let me check about, so if I click on explore, okay, so it's strangely working right now. I think this is a bug in Flutterflow, but yeah, you get the idea. So if I click here, the color, and then explore, I can actually see the actual color. And we have the current theme, so we can have actually different kind of themes. Previously, we can only have light theme and dark theme, but right now we can have our current theme. We can have the sleek, for example, theme. We have professional. We have all kinds of different themes. We can actually should be able to switch between themes. Yeah, or maybe if I change the color, so maybe I'm wrong. So maybe if I change the colors, let me change to this color, and then maybe I can refresh it. No, this is the resetting. Okay, so this is how do I reset my colors. So if I click yes, my colors will be resetted to the one that they are initially. Not the initial Flutterflow colors, but the initial colors that I opened this. Tab with them. But yeah, this is like a great functionality, great advanced, and so let's continue with what we have more. So we have like typography and icons, and they said we're expanding our typography settings so that you can create 15 predefined styles per device. So we can have for mobile, for example, for tablet, for desktop. So you can see all these different kinds of typography. We have a different fonts, we have a different letters. We can define a different letter spacing. We can define if it's italic or not. Font width, we can define that as well. We can define the color, and we can define the font family as well. So that's actually great. I think before that we had 4 or 5, and right now we have 15, which is great. And we also have this make responsive. So when you click this button, make responsive, you can actually define different styles for mobile, tablet, and desktop. And this is great. Actually, in my last video I showed you how you can do it with if-else statement, how you can define your fonts. But in my video for responsible design, you can actually use this as well for images. I haven't mentioned that, but you can actually do it for images as well, the same technique. So if you haven't watched the video, this is the video I'm talking about. Responsive design for the flow. Simple technique for professional results. Okay, and then I will remove that for now because I don't want to. How do I remove it? Maybe I have to remove the tablet one. Probably. So, oh, oops, I removed the mobile. Okay, doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I will leave it only with one. I don't want to mess with more than one. And here on the top right, we have the primary font family and we have the secondary font family. So we can change those as well here. We didn't have this before, so this is new as well. And then we have, of course, the custom fonts. We have the custom icons as well. This is not new. It's just moved. It's just changed. Previously it was in the settings, and now we have, like I said, the different theme settings in all of the Flow projects. And the final thing, it's theme widgets. So the theme widgets is the one thing that we actually spoke about at the beginning. So let's create. So what we want to create, I actually created a button. I'm not sure if I want to create a button. Let's try and create a progress bar, or maybe even better, let's try to create a text. Let's try to create a text, because text will be like, let's say this is a header text. Usually you actually create a text in the typographic covers, so you have like, this would be like your header and you define it here. Okay, so let's do something else, because the text, you're right about it. It could be defined there. I'm talking to myself, you know. So what about the text field? So what about the text field? And I want to have, so let me say text field TF, for example. Oh, I need to be 4 or more characters. Okay, text field. I can say my text field. And then I have this text field. And now I can do anything about it. So I can say like, okay, I want this predefined my text field to have 10 paddings on the top and 10 paddings on the bottom. And I want them to have 5 paddings on the left and 5 paddings on the right. I want the width to be 100, sorry, I want the width to be 100%. I want the max lines to be okay. 1 sounds okay. I want the initial value, so I can predefine the initial value. I didn't know that, so it could be type your name, which doesn't really make sense to type the initial value over here. And even if it makes sense to type the initial value over here, I should be able to define it from some kind of variable like app state variable or something like that, because this is the initial value and it should be actually predefined there all the time, which I don't think most of the people will want. So I'll just leave it blank. And then we have what kind of style I want to have. Let's say that I want this style, which I probably don't see a lot of change over there. And then can I actually test it? Probably I can test it using some text over here. Yeah, so you can see it right now. It's gray. And let's say the font size I want to be big. Like I want to be 40. And let's say I want to have this one. And then underscore or underline, of course. You can actually make it in the center. Yes, I can make it in the center. And then I can have a label. So I can have a text, a hint text. So here I can say like enter your. Then I can leave it blank because I can say like enter your, and then I can when I'm using it, I can actually change it. I can say enter your name, enter your address, or whatever. Okay, and then we can use all different things. As you can see, I can have a border, so I can have a border color, which I will make my primary color to be a border one. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. I can have like a lot of things, as you can see over here. I can even have an icon. I can put some icon. I don't know, like this one. It doesn't really matter. And the icon size will be 14, let's say. And the color of the icon will be this one. And okay. So let's say I want to save this. So this is my text field. Let's save it. Okay, and now we have form elements. We have different kind of elements. We have layout elements, base elements, and form elements. Let's go back to my actual pages, and I want to go to dummy page. Let's say dummy page number 2. And then dummy page number 2, I want to delete everything. I will add a colon here, and I want two text fields. So let's say I add this text field, which is the normal text field, and I add another text field, which is this text field. And to use the second one, I want to use my predefined text field. And in order to do this, I simply have to click on the right side when it says text style upset. Just click on it, and I should be able to select my text field. So if I select it, you can see my text field. So you can see that they are very different. And I have your enter your, and now I can say enter your. I can go down a little bit. Where is it? So it's here, enter your, and I can say enter your name. And then if I add it again, I can say enter your. So if I change the first one as well, I can say here I change it. So it's this one. It doesn't look great, but I just wanted to show you what you can do, and then enter your, let's say, I don't know, nickname. So let's do it like that, nickname. So yeah, you get the idea. This is how you can do it. You can do this for all kinds of elements. Let me go back to show you. If I create a new widget, you can see all the, so we have the layout elements, we have the base elements, and we have the form elements. And yeah, you can do it like for a lot of elements. So yeah, I'll definitely use that. It's a very useful and great feature actually. So like I said, I'll definitely use that. This is this is coming from Flutterflow, and you can see the same thing about the button. So they actually created a button. Click on the button, and then on the right side, click on the button that they want to style it. Like I said, this will not change actions. Even if you style something, it will not change the action. So let me show you what I mean. If I have right now a text form fields, like the normal text form field, and I appended actions to this. So let's say I want onChange action, and I want my onChange action to actually navigate. Let's say onChange, it doesn't really matter, and there is no logic in that because you don't want to usually navigate somewhere when something is changed in your text field. But I just want to show you that if I have an action right now, with this one actually, so I have a navigation on change. It's actually on submit will be better. So let me just copy and paste it. Makes more logic to be on submit. Then I paste it over here. Okay. And then if I change the style to my style, my text field, and go back to actions, you can see my action is still here. So this is the different, like I said, you can apply styles, but the logic will stay the same. Like the logic for And let me actually show you if I actually have, I'm not sure if I have, because I changed the hint text. So I'm not sure if if my hint comes from some place, I think it will be overwritten. So let's see that because I override that. So if I have my hint text from upstate, let's say, and I want to change this, I want to change the style to this style, then yes, the hint text is overwritten as well. So make sure to don't. I think so. Let me try one more thing. If I have actually initial value with a because I didn't enter any initial value, so I should be able to actually place the initial value like display name, for example. And then if I change it, I should still see the display name, but I'm not sure. Let me see. So if I change this, yeah, fortunately this is actually overriding and your values like the initial value, the hint text, and the label text. So you have to put them yourself. But probably in the future, they will actually make it so your initial value will be kept, or you have to actually add the initial value after you apply the styling, which is something that you need to know. Okay, and then we can continue with the next one. This is the that I showed you, and then we have the searchable dropdown. So it's searchable dropdown. Let me show you how this looks. So let me delete all those text fields and add a dropdown. So if I add a dropdown right now, like this, and then I have the drop down, and I have different kinds of options of the drop down. So let me add from the app state, probably I can add cities, for example. And I think I have something in the cities. Let me just check it out real quickly. If I do really have something in cities, I only have one city, but let me add another one. So let me add real quickly another one. Okay, and then if I go back over here and click on the drop down, define options will be cities, and the initial options will be cities as well. And it will be, yeah, so the idea here is that we have this new option, which is drop down search on the right side, and we can make it searchable. So when I enable this, it will now this text the drop down will be searchable, and I have the search hint text, and the search hint text will say search for an item, but I can change that. This can come from a variable, for any variable out there. So let me try and show you how this works. But before I try to, okay. So this is my page. I have only 2 elements right now, but this is how it looks like. So if you click on the drop down, you now have this search for, and this search for, it's actually coming from over here. It's coming from search for an item, and you can have this search for an item. And if I write something, you can see that now this is searchable. So this is actually great if you have a lot of items in your dropdown. So the user can actually search for an item and not choosing it. So yeah, this is how it works, and you can just choose it, and that would be great. This is actually Bulgarian, it's Cyrillic if you're wondering, and this is my this some of the cities in Bulgaria, like 2 cities in Bulgaria. So yeah, and now let's continue with the second one. So like I said, this is a searchable, You can see it over here in action. Again, I just show you how you can create it. And then let's go to custom code in theme components. You can now use custom functions and custom actions in shared theme components. This allows you to build powerful UI UX patterns that can be used across projects. When you want to make any changes, just update the main component. All projects used this component will actually be updated. So this is for teams only, yeah, now you can share team code across your projects, like it said over here. And when you change some of your code in your team projects, it will actually change across all your projects in all your teams, which is great actually. If you're using teams, I think this is great for your teams. So yeah, try it out. I will not show you that because I think I'm not on a team account, and it will be a little bit hard to show you. But yeah, the whole idea, like I said, is to use the same code across your projects. And then let's continue with the second one, which is action upgrades. And we're upgraded actions to include some powerful new functionality, not technologies, callback parameters in custom actions. So you can now add action parameters to custom actions. For example, you could use a custom actions to call an API and then trigger specific actions based on the API result. Now, for example, if status is expired, lock user out. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is the right logic, but if this is not the right logic, I will make another video of it, or I will actually explain it in the live session on the Wednesdays. So the whole idea, I think, is that right now you can actually have, let me zoom a little bit, you can actually have an action as an argument. So you can place here type action. I think we already had that. Cool. That's why I'm saying that probably this is not the new thing that you can do right now. But this is how you can call the action, and this is the response of the action. So in my case, if I call an API call, like in the text that or the example that they used, I can then use this response, and I can actually return, or I can use the response to do something else with this return from the API call. And then the actual actions will be my custom action is this one, call back action, and I can call another action inside my action, which is in this case I'm calling my API call for users. So I'm calling users and then I'm passing these users into my action. So like I said, I'm not sure if this is what they are trying to say. This is useful because there are some actions that you want to put it in your code, but right now you can actually use the output of the actions in your code, so you don't need to write so much code. I think this is the most benefit from it. Another thing I think that you can do right now is no, I'm not right. I was thinking that you can actually click, you can choose action from here, but apparently not. I'm not right about that. Okay, so that's about the first action. So let's go to the second action. The second action is clear query cache action, where I actually did a video about that. And there is, if I go back over here, let me actually show you the actual action. So if I go to cache, I did a video, like I said, I did a video about it, and it's the last video actually I did. It's unlock the power of cache data in Flow step-by-step video tutorial. And we're talking about this action, clear cache. Now, because right now we didn't have an action to clear the cache, and now we have an action. So the action is cached. In my case, it's cached users is the name of the variable. You have to choose the name of the variable. You have to choose the scope that you want to clear the cache. It could be only for this page or for the whole app. In my case, I would do it for the whole app. And then the cache name. And if you have a unique key, you can put the unique key as well. I will not go into details. Like I said, if you want, you can watch the other video that I did for the caching. But yeah, that's actually a great action add-on to Flow. And then we have on initialization trigger. You can now trigger actions when a component loads. So that's great actually. This is like when you have an on action load. So on the scaffold, for example, we have this on page load. And now we have actually the same thing for components as well. So if I go to, let me delete this one. So I have like a few, I think I have a few, yeah, I have a few components. So for example, this one is simple button. And then I should be able to have this on actions, and this is the new action that you can use. And if you go to the icon, it says this action will be triggered when the component loads on initial state. Note if the component stops being showed and then becomes visible again, this action will be re-triggered. In addition, dynamically generated components in a list view with a query will which trigger an action when they are initiated. So in other words, be careful when you're using this, when you're using actions inside on initialization of the component, because they will actually trigger every time the component is displayed. So if you use, for example, like they said in the list view, and if you use 100 components, not different components, but the same components, but use it 100 times, then it will be run 100 times. So keep that in mind. But yeah, if like it said over here, if you want to use this, then you can. So I think this is greatly appreciated. I cannot think off top of my head of a use case for that right now. But probably if you want to, for example, if you want to show a component, for example, when you have a list view and this list view, so let me just real quickly show you what I mean. So if you have a list view, for example, let me try and add a list view over here. So if we have a list view and we have a backend query, let's say we have any backend query, doesn't really matter. Let's say in our case it would be cars, and then we have backend query loading widget. So we can actually use a component over here when the widget is loading, and we can now actually have this action on initiate on the first time that this component is loading. So we can actually say right now that if this is loading, and we can say like if state if it's loading, or and then we can say else state when it is actually loaded or something like that. So we can know when this is loading, and we know that when this is actually run. So if this is something that you think you need for your project, you can now do it. Okay, and let's go down to, so we're almost to the end. We are right now to other improvements, bug fixes, and what's coming. So you can now set stack bar bottom sheet choice chips icon page and checkbox cover from variable. So that's great. Let me just real quickly show you this in action. So if I click on, let's click on one of the items, let's say choice chips. So if I click choice chips, I should be able to set the covers. Yes, you can see the covers on the right. Now I'm able to set them using uh, variable. So that's great. Also, we have on double tap, on long press, and on submit now works in preview mode. Okay, so preview mode, it's the mode that I'm not using actually, but if you are using the preview mode, this is the preview mode on the top right on the orange eye. When you click on it, you can see the orange eye, and you can see the preview mode itself. This is the preview mode. Like I said, I'm not using it, but probably it's useful. I don't know. And you can actually use you can use the actions on double tap, on long press, and on submit. I actually didn't know that they didn't work there, but yeah, okay, now yeah, you can use them. And then we have, you can now set the hover cover for icons in the button. Okay, that's interesting. If I have a button and if I have an icon for this button, it's probably bottom hover style, and I have an icon. Let's say any icon, doesn't really matter. And now it says that you can indeed select the color of the hover button icon. And previously, probably you didn't had the opportunity to, or you didn't had this functionality. Not the opportunity, but probably the functionality. Like I said, I'm not a UI designer, so I didn't use most of those things, but you can now do that, so that's great. And the other thing is you can now set hover and disable style for icon buttons and floating actions buttons. Okay, so we're talking about styling here again, and I think this is self-explanatory, right? You can now set hover and disable styles for icon buttons. Okay, and the other thing is we now automatically append action output names with a number of order to avoid duplicates while copying and pasting. Okay, so the whole idea is that if we have actions over here, and if we are copy and pasting the actions, so I don't think this action it's very relevant in my case. I think I will add an apico, and this apico will be users, and I'll delete this one, and I'll copy this one, and I'll paste it over here. Okay, and now I'll paste this action over here. And now I have three exactly the same actions. It says that we now automatically append action output names with a number in order to avoid duplicates while copy and pasting. So that's interesting right now because you can see that the output name is actually the same to all three actions, but I don't get any errors because usually when the name is the same I get errors. So let me try, for example, data. Let's say data, this is data, and let's say that this is data as well. And now you can see that the name data is already used. I cannot name it the same name. But when I copy and paste them, you saw that they had all the same name. So if I go back, I don't think I can go back actually. Control Z, it's not working. Ah, okay, it's, yeah. So let me try and paste it over here. Yeah, so you can see that they have the same name right now, but I think initially for the flow it's doing something to actually put a number after that, and that's why you don't have this error. If I actually want to update, let's say I want to update the app state with the action output. So it doesn't really matter what I'm updating. And let me try to see what you can actually see and how you can actually differentiate the different actions. Yeah, because right now you can see I have only one action output, which is with the same name. And I have two actions, which I copy and paste them, and they have the same name. So, yeah. To be honest, I don't think which one this should be. I think it should be the second one. Because the second one will override the first one. So I think it will be the first one. Okay, I don't really understand what is the logic. I get it, but I should be able, if this is the case and if it's automatically putting numbers after the action names, I should actually get, I should be able to choose two different available options here, and I have only one, which is strange, and this is not the idea. So let me show you what I mean. If I put over here one, for example, and then over here I put two. First of all, I have okay, so this is not a relevant error because I didn't set it up here. And if I go to actions output, now you can see that I have action 1 and action 2. To be honest, if I have the same names over here, I should get an error and I should not be able to continue because I cannot have the same name. And the reason for that, as you probably saw, is that I will have only one options to choose and I don't know which one from those two it is. So yeah, I don't know how this is working, but probably they'll fix it in the future. And then we have the bug fixes. Fixing an issue where PDF viewer was blank in run test mode when using net or arrow. That's great actually. That's great fix. And fixing an issue that caused infinite loading after purchasing an extra custom domain. Great. Fixing an issue preventing translation of string in actions. Fixing an issue causing private API calls to give 400 error. Fixing an issue causing custom function string components to not work currently. Okay, and then finally we have this tip to move to a new folder. So if I go over here and I have this dummy and if I click to this button, I can actually move. I only have two folders. I have components and pages, and I think those are predefined folders, but I can move to another folder, which is actually great. I think you can also do it with drag and drop. I think so, yeah. I think you can do it as well. Then the final thing is actually new features we're working on, and we have the calibration improvements, which is great. And we have the custom code in main.dart. So this is actually, if this is true, this is actually will be huge, because if that is true and if that is what I'm understanding, you will be able to change the main.dart code with a custom code, which is actually great because there are a lot of actions, or a lot of, not actions, but a lot of packages that needs to change the main Dart and they're not working if you cannot do it. So that's actually, I think, a great improvement. And I cannot wait for that. As a developer myself, I cannot wait to see how this will work. And then we have some super cool out updates. I'm guessing here, I don't know what are the updates are, but I'm guessing it's, I think, I'm not sure. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it will be the super base out. So we will have the super base out authentication functionality. Like I said, I'm guessing, probably I'm wrong about it. You can just tell me what do you think in the comments below. Then we have action components. I'm not sure what is that because I think we already have that. But probably there will be something new. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this. Before we go, actually, before I let you go, I just wanted to thank you very much for watching my videos, and thank you very much for being here till the end. Like I'm always saying, 99%, not always, but I'm trying to say this, like 99% of the people are not actually watching till the end, but thank you for you that you're watching till the end. And you can actually use the live session every Wednesday, and you can submit your code to come to the live session. And let's talk about Flow and your issues and probably your questions about it. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care.